You would never go into a bakery and ask for last week's stale buns, so why have we all gotten so used to eating week-old pitas off the shelf?
To start, we'll mix together 1 cup or 245 grams of water, 1 teaspoon or 7 grams of honey, and 2 1/4 teaspoons or 7 grams of dry active yeast. This is also the same amount of yeast that is in 1 packet. We'll then set that aside in a nice warm place until it begins to get foamy on top. While that's doing its thing, we'll mix together in a separate bowl 70 grams or roughly half a cup of whole wheat flour, 280 grams or roughly 2 1/4 cups of unbleached AP or bread flour, and 1 teaspoon or 6 grams of kosher salt. When the yeast is ready, I'll add in my flour mixture, along with 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, and start the mixer on low speed until it begins to come together. If you don't have a mixer, I'd recommend starting this with the handle of a wooden spoon or something similar, because this bad boy gets messy. Once our dough is starting to look a little bit like dough, we're going to turn the mixer up just a notch and mix for about 7 minutes. I'll then grease up a bowl, plop that disaster in there, and let it rest covered for about an hour until doubled in size. When that hour is up, I'll gently press down to release some of the gas, and then I'll lightly dust up my counter with some flour and turn my dough out. Then using a knife or a bench scraper, I'll go ahead and portion it out. I like to portion my small pitas at 75 grams each, or 150 grams for large. From this recipe, I'll get 8 small or 4 large pitas. Then I'll take each of these pieces, bring each edge into the center, place it seam side down on a table, and gather each one into a ball. Then starting with our first ball, give that guy a good slap. I'll begin rolling out my pitas, taking care to roll evenly until my pita dough is roughly 1/4 inch thick. I'll let those babies rest for about 15 minutes, and then I'll start preheating my oven to 525 degrees Fahrenheit. Ideally with a pizza stone, but a baking sheet turned upside down will do the job as well. If you'd rather cook these on the stovetop, preheat a pan instead. I set mine to 6.5. Once my pan or oven are well preheated, I'll place my dough on a piece of parchment paper, and then using a pizza peel, or in my case a cutting board, I'll slide that into the oven as quickly as I can, or just plop that parchment directly down in my pan. Once it starts to puff up, I'll cook the other side just quickly, and then I'll transfer my pitas to a clean, dry cloth until ready to serve.
Now these pitas, like any other yeasted bread recipe, take a little bit of time to make, but mostly it's time just spent waiting. And although they can be a little bit tricky at first, once you get the hang of it, they're an absolute breeze. Making them yourself at home also gives you the freedom to add things into it, for example garlic or dried herbs, and it also lets you make them just as big or as small as you want. That's about all I got for this one though. Be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed this, and if you want to see more stuff like it, consider subscribing. Thanks very much. I'll see you in the next one.